Alright, Mum, yeah. Yeah, okay. Love you, bye. See you later. Bye-bye. Don't you just hate speaking to your family on the phone? Like, I had to make this video. Let's talk about why we are sent out into people who don't necessarily treat us well as Christians, why we have to show these people a good example, and we have to rein in that immediate impulse to say, you're wrong, you're bad, you don't know anything, you can't treat me like that, I'm going to ignore you. Let's go through the Bible. That's where I'm getting this wisdom from. This is not just me, this is like 1,800 years of tried and tested. This is how to behave in the words of Jesus. And if you are not a believer, this is going to be doubly relevant for you, because you will possibly have seen like 7 hours of psychology lectures which came from this 20-minute piece of Bible reading. So, Matthew 10:16, that's what we're going to read through, and we're going to break it down verse by verse so that we can understand, why are we being sent out as sheep in the midst of wolves? Why are we being sent into this horrific situation and expected to be better than everybody? Like, that's not fair, is it? No, it isn't. Life's not fair. But surely we have to take it upon ourselves to have a responsibility over others. You know, if we're the smart ones, if we are the empaths, if we are the genuinely good and kindly people, and everyone else is just misled and stupid, which is what that's what we think. You know, that was the thing. When I put the phone down, I was like, you're wrong and an idiot. You're treating me like a child and behaving like one yourself. If I have elected myself into responsibility by saying that, then I have to back it up. Otherwise, guess what I become? A big fat hypocrite, and I'm not willing to do that. So, Matthew 10:16 is the guidebook for that. Let's go through it. It's called Persecution Will Come. So it tells you straight away in 3 words, this is what you can expect. Persecution will come. As in, you can't avoid it. It is going to arrive at you. And it is going to persecute you. And it's going to upset you. But if you know that it's coming for you, what's the best way to deal with it? When persecution's heading your way, and you know you can't avoid it, what is the best strategic position to take? Turn and face. Meet it head on and have a plan. That's what we're going to talk about now. So let's get started. Matthew 10:16. Behold. First word, behold. What does behold mean in the Bible? It means stop what you're doing. Listen to this. Look what's up ahead of you. Behold. You know, look what's happening up there. That is coming here. So this is how to deal with that. So this is an instructional teaching, practically applied. That's why you're being taught this. This isn't just some airy-fairy myths and legends. This isn't just a little story to tell your children. This is practical life advice that you can not only use to improve your own day, you can show an example to others, and they will become like you. You know, they will copy this off you because they'll see it working. Behold, I am sending you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Hang on a minute. Jesus, why are you sending me into a pack of wolves as a sheep? Isn't it usually the other way around? Isn't it usually the wolf that comes into the pack of sheep to hungrily eyeball and rip and tear and eat a meal? That's usually what happens, isn't it? So why would you send me out, a sheep, into wolves? Isn't that madness? Because persecution will come. Wolves are quicker than sheep. If you run away, the wolves are going to come for you anyway. And because your back is turned and you have a heart for running away, you're at a huge disadvantage, and the wolves are going to be justified in their attack. They're not going to consider you at all, and it'll be worse for you. So, Jesus says, I am sending you out into them. They're at the disadvantage then. They'll be thinking, hang on a minute, this sheep isn't afraid of us at all. Maybe we need to have a think about it, how we're going to approach this sheep. And then you are in a position of power. That's what you want. You want at least an even kill. You don't want to be at a disadvantage as a sheep surrounded by wolves, because wolves wish to attack you. So, I am sending you out, you personally. Jesus is saying you are elected to be the guy or the woman who goes out into the wolves as a sheep and shows them how things are done. So that says you have a responsibility. Jesus is recognizing that if you're the person reading this and going into the wolves, then you are given more responsibility than they have. You are elected to be the mature adult in the room. I'm sending you out as sheep in the midst of wolves, so be as wise as serpents and as innocent as doves. That is the clearest indication that you have a special job on your hands here, because you are being told, even though you are sheep, and I'm putting you amongst the wolves on purpose, because they're going to come your way anyway, so rather than let them bite you on the back of the bum, you are going to be facing these guys, and you will approach them knowing that they are going to be angry, they're going to have complaints, they're going to attack you, they're going to persecute you. Show them your courage. That's what God is really saying here. He's saying, I am sending you into them. Before they get the jump on you, you're going to show them how brave you can be, and you're going to show them the two things that you are is wise and innocent. Now that's really important. When people want to persecute you and chase you down, they're going to make you feel bad, they're going to guilt trip you, they're going to blame you. You have to be wise to it. Like a serpent, you have to see them coming and be aware of your surroundings, able to adjust and move accordingly. That's why a serpent is wise. But you have to be innocent, which means when they're blaming you, when they're harassing you and trying to attach bad things to your name, you have to know in your heart, no, this is all nonsense. I'm absolutely innocent of these accusations of fault. Not only that, you have to maintain that innocence, because they're going to try and trigger you, aren't they? They're going to try and trick you into doing something wrong. They want you to go wrong so they can go, ha, see, I told you this one was wrong, and then they will feast on you as a pack. That's why they're wolves. You know, they won't actually feast on your flesh. I mean, as soon as they sense a weakness in you, and you defend yourself in the incorrect way, they'll go, see, he's really bad, dive bomb, and they'll all attack you, and then your position is completely destroyed. Then you might as well have been running away and been bitten on the backside anyway. Then you are not as wise as a serpent, and you certainly won't be as innocent as a dove if you have erred. So, we're going through 17 now, so next verse, this is the actual general description of what's going to happen to you. So, we'll go through this. It's going to be a bit longer, but this is literally describing how you're going to be persecuted so that you can be wise and know how to best approach that situation. 17. Beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the courts and flog you in their synagogues. And you will be dragged before governors and kings for my sake, to bear witness before them and the Gentiles. A lot to unpack here. Beware of them, for they will deliver you over to the courts and flog you in their synagogues. Two types of punishment that you're being faced with there. Beware of them, like when you're going over to the... Remember, we're being sent over there. We're being sent into these guys to go and teach them a lesson. Beware of them while you approach them. So show them courage, but don't be brash. Don't overplay your cards. You know, don't wade into trouble with a big arrogant head on, because you just get knocked over. Beware of them, for they will deliver you over to the courts, as in they will show you evidence, and they will try to condemn you with physical evidence first. That's the first thing they're going to do, is they're going to say, this guy, he's done this before, he said this before, this person said this about him, this is his history, this is his past. These are the reasons why he is wrong. So we're going to condemn him with human evidence first, like a court would do, so that we can apply a human punishment. And when that doesn't work, this is the wise bit, when that fails, when you stand up to them and say, no, I am innocent of this wrongdoing, these are false claims, then they're going to go for flogging you in the synagogue. So why is it different being flogged in a synagogue than in a courtroom? Well, because the courtroom has fair physical evidence, which you can easily dispute and say, this is clearly evidentially wrong, this is factually incorrect what you're saying, I'm just innocent of that, this is false evidence, you can prove that. When you're being flogged in a synagogue, it's because you upset God. There is no physical evidence, it's because morally you've done something incorrect. So you see what they do there? First they're going to try and get you with evidence, and they're going to make you look bad in front of your brothers and sisters using physical testimonies and evidence. when that fails, they're going to default onto emotional manipulation. They're going to say, this guy's bad, this guy's a Nazi, this guy's a racist, this guy's a sexist, this guy's a chauvinist, this guy's a bully, this guy is horrible to women and children and orphan cats. You know, they're going to try and emotionally manipulate you and the audience. And the reason they're doing this, which is why you are bewaring of them, they're doing this to try and trick you into making a mistake. They want you to go, that's not right, and, you know, lose your temper. They want you to grit your teeth and swear and shout and remonstrate, because all of a sudden now we're back in the courtroom and it's a new case against you. You're defending yourself against a new case. But remember, you approached them. Jesus said, behold, I am sending you into them. So you're the one that's bringing the case against them. Don't let them turn it around on you and make it a new case that they're bringing against you through this emotional manipulation by bringing your character into disrepute, because like you did with the physical evidence, you are there as wise as a serpent, innocent as doves. You're there to say, no, this is a fictional account of me. This evidence is false. And let's not get lost in the details here. I am the one who brought the case against you, is what you will say in a nice, calm, polite way. You will say, no, this is a separate issue. We will deal with your issues, assertions of my character, after I have finished bringing my case to you. And you remain in control of the situation that way. So as you can see, this is great advice, not just for Christians, for anyone who has to deal with a ravenous pack of emotionally manipulating bullies, but doesn't want to become like one. So, move on. 18. And you will be dragged before governors and kings for my sake, to bear witness before them and the Gentiles. You will be dragged before governors and kings. So that means the little group of wolves that you went into, when they fail at the ground level to incite you to violence, or they fail to make their accusations against you stick when the law court evidence is faulty and you prove that to be wrong, then they try and trigger you emotionally, but you rose above it, you stepped through it, that fails. Now they're going to bring in the big guns. They're going to say, okay, well, we couldn't get you on this basic level, so now we're going to bring you before an authority. It's going to be a false authority. It's going to be an earthly authority, which you maybe don't recognize. And they're going to go back to the trying to trigger you emotionally. So that's why they're going to drag you. Like, you brought your case to them fairly, and you won. You walked away. They're going to drag you back with a parting comment. And you would have definitely seen this on YouTube, but 100% you'll know how this works. Someone says something unfair against you, and they try and trigger you emotionally, and then you say something like, look, I can't have an adult discussion with you because you're acting like a 4-year-old, so I'm going to leave you to it. Good luck with your life. I am done. And then you walk away. So you've finished your case, you've made your case against them, you have rebuked their evil, you've done the right thing, and you've left. They will drag you back by going, I'm going to ignore his last comment and I'm going to make further claims. Ha! That guy said this. And they put words in your mouth. Yeah? You seen that before? So you'll say something like, racism's really bad, but you shouldn't have said what you said because that. And then you leave. Then they make a comment that says, this guy thinks racism's amazing. And that drags you back because you then have to correct what they said against you. They're once again using a false allegation against you to emotionally trigger you to come back into the fray and recognize their case against you. But remember, Jesus said, behold, I am sending you out as a sheep into the wolves. And you have to be as wise as a serpent, as innocent as a dove. So being wise means don't bite the bait. When they come back a second time to try and drag you back into the argument, if your final closing statement was solid and true and you stand by it, you don't need to justify their further responses. When they're trying to drag you back before kings and governors, which usually is the court of public opinion, people you don't know or care about who are just as rancid in their aggression as the original guys were, the original wolves, don't give it the time of day. You don't need to respond to every single criticism. That's what this is saying. The first criticism was you bringing it to them. I am sending you out as a sheep into wolves. You make your case fairly and accurately and calmly and as politely as you can. Then you leave your parting comment there and you go. When they try and drag you back before kings and councillors, because you've beaten them, so they have to say, but these kings and councillors agree with me too. They want to condemn you. It's a new case. They're trying to bring you back in so that they can make a new case against you. But they're only doing that because you just fairly and squarely beat them with the truth that you said before. So don't reply. Don't respond. If you've made your point well, it will stand the test of time. And the more you argue on top of that, you're just going to bury your old point. That's why they're really doing that. They know your point was solid and good. You made it really well. So now they're going to try and bury it with a new case. It's lawfare, effectively, but it's social lawfare, and you cannot fall for it because you are wise as a serpent and as innocent as a dove. And we move on. 19. When they deliver you over, do not be anxious how you are to speak or what you are to say, for what you are to say will be given to you in your time of need, in that hour. When they deliver you over to these evil guys, when you're sent over to the sheep and they deliver you to the kings and the councillors for this horrible, unfair secondary case they're going to bring, when they're trying to be hypocrites and trigger you, do not be anxious how you are to speak or what you are to say. What that means is, once you have won an argument or a discussion or made a fair point, even if they didn't accept it straight away, and you've left, don't get into this habit of constantly overthinking, well, I should have said this, or they should have said this, or I wish I'd have said this, or I'm really pleased I said this. Once you've made the point, leave, gone. Put it out of your mind. And if at any point you have to come back, you will naturally know what to say. Not because you rehearsed it a million times in your head. That's just going to ruin the rest of your day. Don't do that. Don't sit there rehearsing different versions of what you said for future reference. No. If what you said originally was good, moral and accurate, and you really believed in it, which you should if you are being wise as a serpent and innocent as a dove, then when you come back into that same situation and they try and trap you with more pre-thought, pre-rehearsed arguments, you will know exactly what to say, not because you rehearsed it, but because you feel righteous and the right words will come to you. You won't have this confused mindset like they do, where you rehearsed a million versions, now you got to pull the right one out. You're trying to be an AI, basically, in that situation. You will have the correct human response that come from here, not from here. So you're using this, not this, yeah? For it is not you who speaks, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. This is very important, even for atheists who don't necessarily believe this. The Father speaking through you means this is the testimony of truth from your soul, from a deep place that is not rehearsed, that is not mediated or changed by the trendy words that we're using in our political correctness or what's funny and memeing on Twitter or trending on Twitter. None of that stuff. This is the deep down truth of you. This is what you really feel. This is the truth of your personality, of your soul. When that comes out, it's not you that is choosing those words. It is the Father speaking through you, because the truth is coming out through you. And that is exactly why you will be even people who are far more authoritative or powerful or intelligent than you think you are. Those people cannot stand up to the might of the Father. So if that's coming out through you, it doesn't matter what they do or say, they've lost already. That's a battle they're never going to win. Brother will deliver brother over to death, and the father his child, and the children will rise against their parents and have them put to death. So now we get into the nitty-gritty of why this persecution is so horrible. Why it's so easy to be angry and allow ourselves into anger through having experienced these things. Think about how horrible that sounds. Brother will deliver brother, and the father his child. So that's saying brothers will be blaming each other so that one can win over the other, and even the father his own sons and daughters. And the reason they're doing this is so they can be put to death. Now, in the current era, we're not going to be doing this to put people to death, but the death we're going to suffer is a social death. So that means your parents are going to condemn you publicly so that they don't have to be condemned, and that will be the death of your reputation. Brother is going to do this to brother. Sister is going to do this to sister. Mother is going to do this to daughter, and daughter is going to do this to mother. And you will be hated by all for my name's sake, says Jesus. So that means you, having been righteous, done the right thing, walked away, and not engaged in the secondary argument that they want to bring you, even though you did everything right and you said the right thing, you will still be hated by virtually everyone for righteousness' sake. Because no one likes a goody-goody. No one likes someone who is absolutely right and cannot be touched. So if that is you, if you really are all these things that you say you are, if you are righteous, if you are correct, if you are generous, kind and loving, and you said the right thing, guess what? You're going to be hated for it. So you have to expect this and not deal in anger or lies and be dragged back before the kings and governors. You make your point, go. Let them hate on you, don't respond. That's what this is saying. The one who endures to the end will be saved. So if you can do this relentlessly throughout your life, you will be saved from that persecution. Even though you will see persecution, even though people are going to insult you, aggravate you, try and wreck your reputation, put you to social death, unfairly, even your own family will, he who endures this to the end will be saved. So maybe the courts will look unfavourably on you. Maybe your brothers and mothers and sisters and fathers and friends and kings and governors will unfairly persecute you. But if you can hold your temper and not respond in kind, God will glorify you in the end. All these people are going to look like idiots and they will feel bad. When judgment arrives for them, they will feel absolutely horrible about this and they will recognise that you were in the right. When they persecute you in one town, flee to the next. For truly I say to you, you will not have gone through all the towns in Israel before the Son of Man comes. The Son of Man means Jesus, when Jesus comes back. So again, if you're an atheist, this might seem like it's irrelevant to you. If you're an atheist, you're still going to die. That's what this is really saying. If you don't believe in Jesus coming back, when you die, that's when you will be judged. Because we know, when you listen to a music CD, you can't really judge it until you get to the end. Or if you read a book like the Bible or fiction or whatever else you read, you cannot fairly judge a thing until you've got through to the end. Can you? Because you don't know what's in there. You know, it's like if I make you a cheese sandwich and you eat half of it, you can't give it a review because the other half might not be the same. The other half might be better or worse. So, when they persecute you in one town, flee to the next. For truly I say to you, you will not have gone through all the towns in Israel before the Son of Man comes. What that's saying is, you can't possibly have gone through the whole of Israel. So if you're complaining about these Pharisees or these Sadducees or these tax collectors or these pagans, if you're complaining about these murderers or these rapists or whoever you're complaining about in Israel, because remember this is all happening in Israel, don't condemn everybody on account of that small group, because there's no possible way you can know every single individual in every single town in Israel. So condemn the individual for the individual and don't condemn everyone else who is related to that individual, or you will be condemned. And this is the way it's going to be. So you have to expect that people are going to do this to you. That's what this is really getting at. Persecution is going to reach you when you haven't done anything because someone close to you did something, or someone in your community or your race or your religion, someone who wore a t-shirt the same as you did something wrong. Their persecution is going to reach you because they denied it and passed it on to you. If this happens and you are persecuted heavily, walk away. Make your point. Make it well and honestly. Don't respond in anger. Don't get dragged or triggered into these secondary cases where they're bringing a case to you. No, you don't justify it. You go to the next town. Or in your case, you leave that group or that conversation and you get on with your life. A disciple is not above his teacher, nor a servant above his master. It is enough to be the disciple, to be like his teacher, and the servant to be like his master. Who do you serve? That's what this is getting at. This is not about being a servant of a master, really. It's like me saying I'm a servant of Jesus. I am not physically a servant of Jesus. Jesus isn't here giving me orders. But I, in spirit, elect myself to be a servant of Jesus, and I would say that. It's not for me to be higher than Jesus. I don't know any better than this. This is better than everything I could ever know. So, rather than trying to be better than this, rather than trying to rewrite the rules in a better way and change them for my desires, that's what this is getting at, I say, my Lord is Jesus, these are the rules Jesus gives me, and I will apply them, but I will not try to rewrite them. I will not say, I know better than this, so I'm going to do version 2, version 3. And that's what we see in today's world. You will definitely recognise this also, especially on social media, with all these hypocrites out there. Rules work because we apply them fairly and evenly. And that means if a rule applies to you, surely it should also apply to me equally. And that means you don't get to change it after it's applied to you to make it less favourable to me. So that's why we say a disciple is not above his teacher. If your teacher is morality as an atheist, or if your teacher is Jesus as a Christian, then when you are applying these rules to other people who are persecuting you, keep in mind they also apply to you. So the arguments you have to come out with, make sure they don't condemn you. It's a little bit of a complicated one, this. It's almost like saying, don't attack someone too fervently and too harshly, because at some point you're going to probably do those things. You will trip over, you will say something in spite or arrogance, or you will tell a white lie. So make sure you condemn people fairly, then leave. Don't condemn them unfairly. Don't twist the rules to suit yourself now, because tomorrow that will happen to you and you will be condemned. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more will they malign those of his household? So it's saying, your sins reflect on your community. This is the final piece, right? That's the last bit. If you call Beelzebub your Lord, how much more will people think your family are of him? Beelzebub being Satan. So what that means is, you're going out there as a representative of your whole family, your whole community, because you have been elected to be sent into the wolves. Because remember, you said at the beginning, like I did on my phone, when I was speaking to my mum, I said, you're an idiot, you're wrong, I know better, you shouldn't have said that, I know best, you should listen to me. So now, if that is true, and I'm sending myself into the wolves as a sheep and being wise and innocent, as I have been asked to be, and I have given my closing statement, which was accurate and true and fair, and then walked away, that's my job done. As soon as I get dragged back into it, as soon as I try to bend the rules or lie or show deceit or spite, that's not what this is telling me to do. That means something else is driving me to do that. When I am driven by those intense impulses for revenge or hypocrisy, so that I can get a temporary win, so that I can win today in a way that tomorrow I won't want to be beaten by. That's me making Beelzebub my Lord. And if I do that, even though it was me that did that, guess what people are going to say about my friends, my family, and my community? They're going to say, they're all like that. They are all like that. Never trust those guys. And in doing so, you might win today, but you have issued a defeat to the rest of your family and friends. So you are not wise as a serpent or innocent as a dove. You are now condemned. So, that's the end of this video. Nice half an hour piece of preaching. But these are the conclusions that we come to. Persecution is going to come to you. It's going to come to you from the places you least expect it. Mothers, brothers, fathers, sisters, sons, friends, teachers. They're going to attack you with evidence first. And you're going to say, no, I'm innocent. This is false evidence. Here is my case against you. That's why I approached you, remember. Don't be tricked into thinking that you approached them and now they have a case against you. It's the other way around. You approached them as a sheep amongst wolves, and you were sent in a good spirit. You were not sent there to punish them or to harm them in any way. You were sent to show them this is the error of your ways. I am giving you an example of how to be good. Then you leave. Don't get dragged into a secondary argument, which they will try to do. First evidence, if it fails, then emotional manipulation, then if it fails, the court of public opinion, kings and governors. If that fails, anger and spite. Don't be dragged back into it. Make your point accurately, fairly, quickly, leave. Don't bury it. Do not bury it with further arguments. If you are right, the test of time will show you to be right. And the reason that you are doing this, the absolute bare bones reason why you bothered to do this at all, is because you are trying to give a good example so that other people can see in the future, even if they don't see it now, even if they don't admit to themselves now that you gave them a good performance and you were right. The test of time will show that their arguments will fall away in future, their reputations will be ruined by their own hand, not by yours. What you said will be shown to be right and your reputation will increase, and in doing so you will have served your master, morality, kindness, and you will have served them by giving them that example and motivating it to happen in them. So, that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed that and you learned something. God bless you all, and I'll see you lovely people in the next one. Bye now. Easier said than done, but with practice, with desire to do the right thing and be the right person, you can lead by example and you can show the world what you're really made of. And I hope that you do. So that's all for now. God bless you all. And I'll see you lovely people in the next one. Bye now.